Hello, we'll talk now about Jean-Jacques Lequeu, an interesting, intriguing, and even an outrageous architect who, together with Ledoux and Boulez, formed the special triad, the visionary architects, Jean-Jacques Lequeu. Jean-Jacques Lequeu was born on September 14th, 1757, and died in 1826, was a French draftsman and architect. Born in Rouen, he won a scholarship to go to Paris. Following the French Revolution, Lequeu's architectural career never took off. He spent time preparing the Architecture Civile, a book intended for publication, but which was never published. He became a civil servant, working as a surveyor and cartographer until his retirement in 1815. A very interesting architect with a very interesting biography. Lequeu is now considered part of the period of visionary architecture, which developed in the period leading up to the French Revolution. This was directly influenced by the great competitions organized by the École des Beaux-Arts. These competitions encouraged entries comprising massive buildings unfettered by budgetary constraints. This resulted in scores of designs for vast and impressive buildings which had little connection with the real world and remained paper architecture. Architects of this genre include Claude Nicolas Ledoux, Etienne Boulez, and Antoine Laurent Thomas Vaudoyer. Most of these, like Lequeu, are more famous for their unbuilt works than for buildings actually constructed. And this is worth mentioning because even if you do not build, if you have a vision, if you are dedicated to architecture, you can still make it to the history of architecture with your original contribution through your drawings. And this is what he did, Lequeu, Jean-Jacques Lequeu. But be prepared to see some, even outrageous drawings. A strange man who probably needed on his side for a while at least Dr. Sigmund Freud, but Dr. Sigmund Freud was not yet born. I don't know. I don't know what to make of his proposals. I'll just show a series of drawings that Jean-Jacques Lequeu did. Et nous aussi, nous serons mères, car this is a drawing that he did, and we will be mothers as well, because, and he leaves it like this. And now, what do you make of this? Jean-Jacques Lequeu, a man of contradictions and strange visions. Orthographie du tombeau de Porcena, roi d'Ertrurie, appelé le labyrinthe de Toscane, 1792. And he accompanied his drawings with a lot of writing, lots of references to mythology, and so on. Upon reading the text, probably a lot of deciphering could happen of what he intended to do. He drew impeccably. He was a remarkable draftsperson, and you have to understand he didn't benefit from Photoshop or anything like it. Everything was done by hand. L'apport de Parisis du Parisis étuyeux de Cheminée in 1794, another project where you see the force, the presence of sculpture, of statue, where the statue is almost bigger than the building itself. And again, the references to mythology are very, very important. Something we don't do any longer, but maybe we could go back to mythology and learn some or relearn some things that we forgot. Jean-Jacques Lequeu, born the 14th of September, just like Renzo Piano and Ettore Sottsass, because we are going to talk about Ettore Sottsass as well. In terms of the art of drawing, we have to acknowledge that indeed Jean-Jacques Lequeu drew impeccably. Colored pencils. Élévation géométrale du temple de la terre, the temple of the earth, 1794. I wish I had, maybe later I will have a better picture of this. The temple of the earth, Jean-Jacques Lequeu, monument destiné à l'exercice de la souveraineté du peuple en assemblée primaire. I mean, this melange between politics and art puzzles me, but this was the time, you know. A belief in monumental architecture, in symbolic architecture. Descend d'un ponceau par Lequeu, École Polytechnique. Before 1802, it's a bridge. It's a drawing for a bridge. Not too much mythology here, that's for sure. Âge pour concevoir. Well, look what he did. A frustrated architect. What can we say? La sauvage blanche, dessinée d'après nature. The white savage. Obviously, he had problems. This man, étude de l'œil, studies of the eye. He was a solitary man, indeed, very solitary, probably, and introverted, and with problems. Not that he was the only one on this earth. We all have problems. But not too many architects left such drawings behind them. Il est libre. Now, why did he say il est libre? Because here we are seeing a woman, not a man. Il means masculine, but we see something else. I don't know what he was referring to with il est libre. Le grand bailleur is a man who is yawning or what? Or sighing. Some other projects, let's call them projects, designs for a temple of the earth. This one we already saw, but here we also see a section through it, reminding one of the cenotaph for Newton by Etienne Boulet, but much smaller, but drawn very, very well. Again, the temple of the earth. Maybe we can think again about some kind of a temple for the earth before the war in Ukraine extends. Let's hope it will not extend. Jean-Jacques Lequeu, Temple of the Earth, for the Earth. Well, there it is written à la sagesse suprême, to the supreme wisdom. Where is that wisdom, Mr. Putin? No wisdom. Beyond architecture, a builder of lusty fantasies, that's how he was described, Jean-Jacques Lequeu. The Morgan Library and Museum is exhibiting the unleashed imagination of Jean-Jacques Lequeu, who reveled in light and pleasure. Well, we know from Leonardo da Vinci that there is no pleasure without pain. I'm sure he knew a lot about pain as well. Maybe, first of all, designed for a temple of equality. Who do a temple for equality these days? Nobody. Draftsman's tools, his own tools as a draftsperson, greatly drawn indeed, with some notations. That's probably his own hand. Drawing. Jean-Jacques Lequeu. Designed for a living room at the Hotel de Montholon, 1786. We only have drawings by him. The tomb of Isocrates, Athenian orator, 1789. Strange tomb, no? Strange monument. Look at this. Look what's there on top of the building per se. So this was imagined for an Athenian orator, 1789. This is a narrative architecture. You have to know the specifics relating to Isocrates and the Athenian orator in order to understand the symbolism of what is there. The great yawner, and he sticks out his tongue. We already saw this image. Now the telephone is ringing. I hate the mobile phone. I really hate it. I have to answer. Sorry. Malo? Now it's stopped. Anyway, again, Jean-Jacques Lequeu, we can contemplate his tongue. Tavern and Hammock of Love, 1810. Finally, a more down-to-earth building, so to speak, but we don't know very well what's going on the sketch on the right side between those two trees. Indian pagoda of intelligence. Well, at a different scale, with the three parts, we could think of the Palais de Justice by Renzo Piano. What is this? A building within, an elephant-like construction. Jean-Jacques Lequeu. The subterranean labyrinth of the Gothic house. I like this drawing, and it is subterranean and it is labyrinthic or labyrinthian. He drew very well indeed. The dairy house, face building, and the hen house, an architectural joke. So I guess architectural follies were accepted, 200 years ago as well. The X-rated architecture of Jean-Jacques Lequeu. We already got some glimpses at the X-rated aspects of, well, let's call it architecture. What we saw with the X in front of them were images of something else, not architecture. But this image, this vision, this drawing shows something that, could very well be built at the Burning Man festival or in other similar circumstances. The gate of a hunting ground, 1800s, we already saw this picture, was the first one I showed. So it's a gate of a hunting ground. The poor animals with their heads, cut off from their bodies as a triumph of the hunting man. Sad. Painstakingly perfect and utterly peculiar. The drawings of Jean-Jacques Lequeu, that's how someone described them. Painstakingly perfect and utterly peculiar. The drawings of Jean-Jacques Lequeu. Another tombeau. We already saw this one for the Athenian orator, the tomb of Isocrates. Was he a happy architect? Probably not. He was frustrated. But again, forgive me, this telephone exasperates me. Hello? Da, unde sunteți? Bine, vă aștept. Mulțumesc frumos. Bine, mulțumesc frumos. Mulțumesc, mulțumesc. Da, da, da. Da, în Tocăneasa. Lângă Bârla, da. La 20 de minute, da. Poftim? Gara Docăneasa. Bine, bine, mulțumesc. Mulțumesc. It's a disaster today. You know, my recordings are ruined. Anyway, I don't know even. Anyway, Jean-Jacques Lequeu and his tools, drawing tools, a fragmented pace, and I end this, you know, ruined presentation.